Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Leonard Bones McCoy's 6-scale figure from Quantum Mechanix. Let's see how he turned out. Okay, first up the packaging. Photograph of Bones, copied and pasted onto a background. Okay, now let's move beyond that. There's some pretty solid stuff going on here with title treatments, logos, etc. But again, as always, I love that lenticular dish, Enterprise dish motif. I can't say enough about that. And check that out, Terry got the exclusive. Oh boy. Very nice use of the 50th anniversary logo on the side, on the front, everywhere. It's pretty much basic. But again, everyone only really cares about this. Check this out, Quantum Mechanix setting the bar. This is how you do a 6-scale figure. This is a stunning array of accessories. I can't get enough of what they're doing, what Quantum Mechanix is doing with their Star Trek line. Exclusive, Bones short sleeve shirt that we see him wearing in sickbay all the time. This assortment of hands is very awesome. Some of them are proprietary to this figure. What I'm pointing out here though are these little things on his sleeves. I have experience with those. You need to be very careful with those. Those will break off if you're too rough with them. Dress uniform stuff, medical bag, tricorder, phaser, communicator, everything that you could ever want in a Star Trek figure. It's all right here. Again, Quantum Mechanix does it right every single time. Yeesh, I hope I didn't just jinx them with that. Anyway, since I've got the exclusive figure with the exclusive shirt, I figure I may as well start out by using it. So, here's the deal. It's a pretty complex procedure that your entry-level 6-scale collector might be a little bit nervous about undertaking. That's good. That's a healthy attitude to have when you're dealing with 6-scale figures because, as we've all come to find out, they can be very delicate, very fragile, little parts that will break off if you're not careful. If you walk into a 6-scale posing session in a hurry, reckless, what have you, you're probably going to wind up with more than a little bit of heartache by the end. So yeah, first up, when you're removing the long sleeve shirt, lift the arms above his head. That will provide you the most direct, easiest route of pulling the shirt off without getting anything bunched up, without getting anything caught, torn, what have you. When that's done, you're going to have to drop his drawers. That's because Bones' sleek looking black Under Armour thing that he has going on is actually, look at that, a onesie. For those of you who are wondering if that's screen accurate, I highly doubt it, but I think that in 6-scale it's probably a necessity to keep the shirt from riding up. Fabric that's this tight has a tendency to do just that very thing, so yeah, they made a good call doing that. There's a clasp between his legs, a little Velcro strap that you're going to pull. That'll release the onesie, and then you can do the same thing you did with the other long sleeve shirt and pull it up very slowly, very gently, because it does kind of tend to get caught in the joints. If that happens to you, don't panic. Just take your time and work it free. Once you've gotten over the shot of a naked headless Dr. McCoy laying on your table, you can grab yourself the other onesie, the other sleek black onesie that's specific to the short-sleeved uniform. Reverse the process. Very gently guide those 2 wrist pegs and the arms they're attached to into the shirt and then through each sleeve. Again, you're going to want to be very careful with this when you're doing it because those pegs, they'll have a tendency to snag in the fabric, and if you do it too fast, you run the risk of ripping the fabric. I don't recommend rushing this part of the process. Just take your time, work the pegs through. Once they're peeking out of the sleeves, then you can pick up the pace a little bit as I'm doing here, and just pull the shirt very gently down the body. Then once you've reached that point, you can fasten the Velcro clasp between his legs, and this part of the process is done. Next up is the pants, and I mean that quite literally. Pull those pants up, then very gently pull that zipper all the way up until it's at the top. I'm assuming by now you know how those things work. Once that's accomplished, then grab that short sleeve jersey, and again, just the opposite motion of when you remove the long sleeve jersey. Pull it, put those arms through the sleeves, then pull it all the way down and adjust. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward at this point. The hard part comes next. The difficulty is going to be putting that head in there because, let's face it, the collar of that Under Armour onesie is pretty snug and it's stretchy and it's going to want to snap. No matter how much you try to flex that thing and pull it and widen it and get that neck through, for me, it always wanted to try to snap back into place. It was very frustrating for a little while, but with patience, with diligence, you should be able to put it all together. If using your fingers isn't working for you, then you might want to try getting like a pair of pliers to help you spread them out a little bit more. If that's still not doing the trick, maybe some tweezers. I don't know, use your imagination. Try to find something else to put into that collar and spread it wide enough for you to get that neck through. Eventually you'll find your way through it and you'll get it in there, and once you do, just press down firmly. That'll pop the head back into place like I just did there. And voila, your assembly is complete, and now you can start with the fun part, that being the posing. I've said it before, the quality of these QMx bodies is second only to Hot Toys in my mind. It's like I know going into every posing session with one of these figures exactly what the figure is going to do, how it's going to work, how it's going to respond. I mean that in both some good and some bad ways. In my mind, the only call out that I can make for these figures is that they possibly could use a little bit more stiffness in the knees. But that's really such a minor issue that I have a hard time bringing it up. Let's face it, these figures almost pose themselves. They really are that good. If Kirk and Spock are the balancing forces, the polar opposites on the Enterprise that balance each other out, then Dr. McCoy is the one in the middle. He's human, so he possesses the wild side of Kirk, but it's tempered within himself by his own rational nature, the empirical side that all doctors possess, or at least one hopes that they possess. As you might expect from a character so perfectly positioned between such two disparate individuals, he also provides a bit of a moral center for the sort of triumvirate that the three characters together form on the Enterprise. Incidentally, on a somewhat related note, you'll notice that on some of these photos I neglected to put the ring on Bones' little finger of his left hand. That's interesting because that's actually DeForest Kelley's wedding ring, which he refused to take off during shooting. After much discussion on set, he finally reached a compromise with the show's producers that would allow him to wear the ring, but not in the traditional sense. Which reminds me, when I first got my hands on one of these figures several months ago, I was photographing it, and unbeknownst to me, I broke it. In the first or second shot, I just assumed that it was supposed to come that way. So be careful with it, it's delicate, and if you try to force onto the hand too much, it very well may split. Apart from that, it's a perfect figure. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Tune in next time. Until then, be good to your plastic.